Hi, this is Lucas. I'm a UEFA certified football coach and a doctor in sports psychology. Welcome to this channel where we talk about football coaching and the psychology corner. Alright, so today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to analyze a football match that my team played a couple of weeks ago. This is the under-19s quarterfinals of the Beker, which is the Dutch Cup, where we play the almighty PSV at home. So this is the home turf where we have most of our sessions. So to give you a little context so you know which team to observe, my team is the white one, and then PSV came for this game playing in all black. And it was an important match for our team because we've been preparing for this match for a month now. And for a lot of my players, it's a good opportunity for them to showcase their skills against a top team in the country. And also these type of matches bring a lot of scouts. So for example, in the in the round of 16 before this, we had 3 scouts there looking for our players, asking names at the end. So they know of the importance of it because a lot of people are watching. And it was a full house. You can see some people here on the sides. It's not normally the case for games at our club. So it was also very important for our club to be in that step. And the cool fact is that we were the last remaining amateur club in this competition, making all the way to the quarterfinals. And every other club in that level were at the professional side of things. So just to give you a little context on the preparation for this, we did 2 match analysis. Ideally, we want to do 3 matches, especially the 3 prior matches to this game, to understand a little bit about how PSV plays. But unfortunately, since we don't have access to all the footage and also to go out there and watch them play live, we watched the 2 latest videos that we got our hands on through connections and asking people around. One game was against Dordrecht, where they played the round of 16 for the same competition. And in that game, they actually played with a 4-4-2. And the second game we watched was the game against Ajax, which was the latest one that we got our hands on. And it was for the league. It was the first division of this league. And then in that case, they played with the back 3. They actually had a 3-4-3 with 2 wide players and 2 players in the midfield. We were betting on them coming against us on a 3-4-3 as well. So you guys can see here, almost there's a back line for them because they're going to keep 3 men at the back and then 2 wide players, 2 players in the midfield, and then the top 3. And we had that as a plan A. We told our players that it was very likely for them to come in that shape. So we worked on it. And that's how I'm going to try to show you guys here. Our biggest challenge that we actually played is a couple of teams that had the same setup, and we had a very hard time marking them actually, not because of the quality of individual players, but mostly on decision on who they have to mark. So in this case, we were trying to clarify for them, like, you have to take this guy, you have to take that guy, just so we can cut a little bit on the guessing game and that awkward, like, should I go, should I stay, that it happened very often in teams. So as we expected, they came in on a 3-4-3, and then the idea, I'm going to try to pause as every now and again just to show you guys a little bit about what the idea was in this game for us to stop PSV. So we see here that PSV has possession, which they had most of the time, as you would expect. But we try to fight very hard to make sure that it was not easy for them to come in and score against us. Our idea was not to sit back. It was naturally happening that we sat back a little more just because of the way the game was and the quality of the opponent. But we wanted to press them on their half. So you can see here that my players are already going into position. Let me roll it back a little bit more so you guys can see the setup. All right, so the ball is now with the right center back, and you see that the line of 3, and then the 2 players in the midfield, and then the wide players. The idea for us was, when defending, not to change too much on our shape and then completely adapt to them. It was just to make little adjustments to the way we play, the way we defend, to make sure that we can match them up on a man-to-man basis. This is how we press. This is a quality and philosophy of our club. We press high with 4 men, and then in this case we pressed with 3 men to do a 3-4-3 and then match everybody else at the back. So right now the right center back has the ball, and it's the job of the number 11. So this player here on the far left, my left winger, to mark the man on the ball, and then I have my number 9 matching the center back. And then you can see my number 10 just moving to the side. He was actually supposed to get the winger on the other side. So they're not in the best position there, but since the ball is on this side, we have time enough to recover. You see my number 8 matching with is the boy with the red shoes, the red boots, matching up the midfielder for them. And then you see my left back matching their number 2. And then everybody else in the midfield and the rest of the back line matching man for man. So you see here again, it's just taking a little more shape. So we're able to mark the ball and also mark the other options. And you can see the midfielder now asking for the ball to be played in the back. We were expecting for that ball to be crossed very often, so we were prepared for that ball. Usually they did from the left to the right, and our left back is really good at intercepting balls in the air. But in this case, they just started with the one on the opposite side, where our right back is not as tall. So you see another cross ball going from one side to the other side. All right, so during the build-up, we build up with the 4 men in the back. We get a wide fullbacks on both sides. Some alternatives that we have sometimes is to bring the center back onto the inside to try to overload the midfield so we can build up. But we usually try to do that as a plan B, and that was not the case for this game right in the moment. So here we see our line trying to shape up, making sure that we are matching them men for men. Their number 9 is a really good striker. We had a special conversation between my players in order to learn how to stop him, because he does one thing really well. He usually stands behind the back of the defender, and then he pops in the front and then usually intercept the ball before the defender. You guys might see this very often here. So just to disclose it, this is the very first time I'm watching this played back. Since the game happened, I actually took a couple weeks to do this analysis because just mentally I was feeling very overwhelmed when you have a preparation that takes almost like a month to do, even though you have different games in between. But it was very heavy on us when it comes to the mental energy that it took. So you see a very silly pass back that conceded a corner, and then you're going to see that they are going to score in the very first few minutes on corners. This is something I've been telling my players, that I say to them on the ground, pound for pound, you guys can match up with the other players, but when it comes to balls in the air, you need to make sure that you are actually able to get out there and try to stop them. That was the biggest difference. So we worked a lot for a whole month on jumping, plyometrics, and headers, defensive headers, offensive headers. But literally the very first corner kick, they came out and scored. And then they did that a few other times in the second half, which really killed us. So the idea that they do for PSV, something is very interesting. They do a screening just like in basketball. So they try to get sometimes one of the players really wide inside the box and off of the second post. And then they have a strong player in the midfield around the second post, where his job is going to be to screen the player that is defending or is marking the guy who's going to go for the header. So he basically is looking behind like this, and then whenever the person who's marking the guy that's going to go for the header, they go back, and then they block their run, which leaves the guy to play by himself the header, which was very, very effective, and they scored 2 goals against us in the second half, just like that. All right, let's continue here. It's very important when we concede in a game like this, but in any game when we concede first and too early, but especially in a game like this that we clearly have the opposition to be stronger than us, is how we're going to react in the very first uh, few minutes after that. So you can see that we're trying to play, we getting the ball into our possession, and I noticed just looking around and then just the attitude of our players that they were feeling very positive and they were okay, and they didn't feel as much the pain of the goal, because if we don't get things sorted out right in the beginning, then it means that it just can open the door and then the other team is going to start massacring us. So I'm just pause here. Here you're going to see a play that we usually do. We try to do, this was the only corner I believe that we have for us. And this is a play that has been very effective for us. So this is a little overlap. We try to find a midfielder that is free on the top. You can see it was really interesting to see that PSV had all their players in the box, giving that it shows a little bit of respect to us in that game, because honestly, if I was PSV, I don't think I would probably bring all my players in the back. I'll probably leave 2 players up top and 1 player in the top of the 16, given that we are superior than them. But they were analyzing us. This was the first corner. Didn't know what we were all about. We had just beaten FC Groningen, which was an impossible mission, and then I'm assuming that that's the idea that they came against us, and also ensuring that they're probably used to that. So you can see that the ball goes into the midfielder there, who's going to receive, and then the boy who does the overlap just kind of goes into to the top there, and the guy who took the corner, sorry, the guy who set up the overlap, it goes in between the lines. The run wasn't very good, and it was ended up being intercepted there, because he usually receives the ball in between the 2 players, and then he has an opportunity for a shot or a cross. Didn't work well. It was very frustrating, because sometimes the players they just rush these set pieces that we coordinate, and then they end up not being as good as we do it in practice. But when they are done properly, you can see that we can be very dangerous. So you see once again, I would say a scared move from our goalkeeper. I could clearly see that our right back and our goalkeeper were feeling a little bit the weight of this game. I'd say that the right back took probably like 10-15 minutes for him to warm up and start to make actions that were more solid and confident from his part. But before then, I was really concerned about that side. So again, we're trying to do a match man by man on all parts of the field, and trying to make sure that we have always 3 men in the midfield, because we wanted to overload their players. So it was a really good read from my center back there, who was able to close the space in the midfield. That was the idea. The number 4, usually for us, he comes out and he marks in the midfield, where the number 3 stays back and matches with the number 9. So you're trying to bring the team up. There's no way of sitting back. You can see my left winger here on the short side of the field, marking up their winger. In this case, their fullback is inverted. I can see that he's actually the boy with the long hair. He is on the inside on our left back. So it was really good communication from our players. Usually when players do that swap, they can get confused, because they might think about like, oh, I was supposed to mark this guy, and then that can confuse. But when they actually make that decision of swapping, even though the initial idea is to mark men to men, it's really good to see it. Yeah, so see their midfielders making movements behind my number 10. My number 10 is very technical, and with the ball in his foot, he's very, very creative and can find and ping players anywhere on the pitch. But when it comes to defending, it's a little slow to react. So there's a lot of runs that can be made behind his back. Look, again, that is not ideal. So they're finding this pocket. I can see that they're finding this pocket in between my 3 midfielders. The amazing thing about the PSV team, and specifically their players, is the how much they can cover ground without actually being in that place in the position. So they make it look like we have the space, and then in the end we actually don't. Here is the build up for us. Let's just look around here on the idea of our build up. So our build up is usually short. Most of the teams here in Amsterdam, in the Netherlands, they build up short, which is really cool to see how confident they are in this type of plays. And then the idea for us is to have the two midfielders, the number 8 and the number 6, to come in short to receive. They would be matched up by their two midfielders, which would leave our number 10 open in the middle of the field. So you can see my number 10 there, right in the middle with the pink boots. He looks like he's free, and you're going to see that happening a few times in this game. But it doesn't mean that he's going to get it, because, again, these guys, they can cover a lot of ground, even though it looks like we don't have a man marking yourself individually. They have an eye on you, and if the ball goes to you, they are fast enough to react and get to you and give you that false trap, if I may say. So here in the build up, number 9 comes in down to press on my defender. In this case, the idea from our team is to have our wingers to drop in. So you can see where it says the Burgia on the wall there on the sides. You can see him dropping into the half space to receive, but I don't think there is enough room for that ball to be played there. You can see the number 8 just making that left run to block the half space, which was exactly what I was saying. So yeah, so a hesitant pass from number 2. Again, he's still, I could see he was very nervous and his touch was a little off. He was making a few mistakes that he doesn't usually make. He's a really good player, really agile, and can cover a lot of ground. So again, they re-inverted the fullback and the right wing. So the number 2, I think this number 2, he also plays for the young team in the second division. We weren't sure if PSV was going to bring their best squad, and then we will look pound for pound, player for player. They brought the best they had. Their number 9, their number 10 and 8, number 2. So these were players that are the elite for them. I didn't know if they were going to underestimate us. So here I was making a high press in there, but it was just very difficult to get the ball down to the ground. Let me just see this again. So it's a back pass, a mistake, and then a mistake from them. And then our number 11 receives the ball. Something that he could have done better here is just I trapped the ball so it doesn't bounce again. And then we have a number 8 coming in to receive in the back. He could have set the ball to the number 10, and the number 10 just set the ball to our 9, who was just outside of the 16. But he let it bounce and put it in the air. Yeah. It wasn't the greatest decision there. Bouncing is a problem. It's we need to make sure that the ball bounces at the least possible before or after you take a touch, because, again, if the ball is in the air, you don't have too much control of it, and that is not ideal. Yeah, so there's a little mistake on the marking already here. Let me just check to see. Yeah. Yeah, our number 10 is on their center back, and then my 7 is on there. I'm wondering where my 9 is. I actually don't see where he is here. Yeah, because our have a left back all the way up top, and the left back is supposed to be marking the number 7 here. Look, number 7, number 9, they all have their arms open because they know they have an outnumber situation on that side. Where's my 9? That's the question. Oh, I see. My 9 was on the winger spot, and my winger was marking their fullback. It was completely off. That was not supposed to happen. And then observe how players are so intelligent. Like, they know where there's gap, but there's overload. So let's see that both had their arms up asking for the ball because they knew they had the advantage there. It's really interesting to see. Like depending on the teams you play, if they have the least amount of knowledge about the game, like they find gaps like nothing. So it's really interesting for us to be very aware about that. And then as the coach on the side, sometimes you catch that, sometimes you don't. Sometimes when the play delays enough, you kind of have a time to go in and scan across the field. You can see those mismatches and you can fix it. But the thing is, sometimes like the play goes really fast, and we were just one line, you were revising one line, and when you get to the back, the ball has already been played. So it's really down to them. They have to coach each other on the field and fix those problems. Especially the goalkeeper has to see the back line to support you. I coach by myself, so I don't have an assistant to kind of look at the back line and I look at the front line. But this is pretty much what PSV was doing. So their first coach, the head coach that went in gray that you can see there, he was mostly talking to the offense, and then his assistant coach was always stepping up on the sidelines and addressing the back line, if I'm not mistaken. So it's really cool to see. Like you have to give different roles for your coaching staff. So otherwise, everyone's there looking at the same thing, and you're just wasting money and people's time, and looking at the ball and not giving enough information. So all right, so let's see here. Well, the setup is a little better now. So we have our left back on there, number 7. I'm wondering who's marking the number 2 there. It looks like it's my number 9, which is very weird. It was supposed to be the other way around, but it's fine. The players are very intelligent in that sense at our club. They are really good at covering back. Look, they're doing the reversing. Yeah, so they reversed to that. So it's really nice to see that we don't teach those things. At least at the under 19s, we see that they come to us already knowledgeable of, well, if something happens, I take your position, automatically you need to come and cover for myself so that there's no gap. And then in the first possible situation, they go in and then they switch it back. I've coached in different countries. Honestly, the Netherlands has been the best one when it comes to tactical intelligence from the players. So they're really able to read basic stuff and make the right decisions. All right, here's the build up again. Let me pause it right here. So the same thing is happening right now. I'm having the 2 midfielders matched up man to man, and then have my number 10 at the same position waiting for the ball in that gap. The idea, of course, was not to get the ball from the keeper all the way straight to the number 10, but was to do a combination and then of 1 or 2 passes between the fullbacks and the midfielders, and then finding the number 10 there. But the ball rarely came to him, which was a shame, because the quality of our first 2 lines were not as good in the build-up for this game. We usually are pretty good at that. All right, so let's see here. So everyone's matched up. You can see the number 2 is feeling a little free, but my number 11 is switched on. He's at the same line. At least it has to be at the same line. Remember, the decision for the number 11 to go up, to stay up or to come down, it depends on the quality of their fullbacks. I always ask my wingers to make a decision. If you feel like you're better than them, then make sure that you can stay a little bit more ahead of them for a counter attack, because you can come back and track if you need it. But if you see that they are very dangerous, you need to be at the same line or at least behind them, so we can cover that side. So really good, solid defending from our goalkeeper, who's been saving us for a few matches. He actually started as the backup keeper, but he's grown a lot to his potential, and he's been able to do a really good job, especially in short stopping. He's fantastic. All right, so I believe it's a throw in for us. This is not the best camera angle. We have cameras in the club that have the wide lenses that can catch the entire pitch. Not working in that day, but thankful enough, PSV brought like 15 members of staff. 3 of them were just focused on filming the game, and they were kind enough to share the footage with us. This is the one that we are watching now. So thanks to the PSV staff for sharing that with us. All right. It's quite painful to see that the build-up was so bubbly. We see a lot of the ball being just bouncing around, having a hard time for us to put the ball on the ground. you can see again that the players are feeling the pressure of playing against the team that is of that weight and importance in the country. Plus the players from the opposition being really solid when it comes to covering ground. So look, this is usually not what happens in our team. We usually face forward, we turn around, we build forward, we use the midfielders, but it was not happening because of that immediate pressure that the team was putting on us very often. But still, 1-0 for them, still alive in the game, but having a very hard time passing through the second line. So very nice marking here from a number 8, following the 10 on the run all the way. Sometimes players, they stop and they don't follow all the way. But number 10, our number 8 is very intelligent. All right, let me see this play again. I was focusing on the defending. So here's our number 10. It happened exactly what we wanted. Let me just track back a little bit more. Maybe I went too much. It's a little hard to control the thing here. Yeah, the thing is not as precise, but we're gonna get there. All right, so a little bit of a rough pass here. So we can see 3v3 on the side. So everyone's marked up, and exactly what we wanted to happen, which was for us to get our number 10 free from marking. He receives the ball, and then with a few touches, I can see he's already setting up the ball for the long. Let's try to understand the decision making here. First, I need to give you more context about our player. So our player, he, as I said before, he has a really good pass, and he can find the players on the run anywhere on the field. However, his downside is that he's not as fast. And then the instructions for our team was for us to play on the counter attack. So his decision here matches with what we were expecting of them to do. However, see that he has a little more room. He could have made a little more a run forward. Yeah, so the touch was quite bad, and he put the ball on his left foot. He's right-footed, but he can do a good job with the left foot. So yeah, I would say that he did do what we were expecting him to do. He just could have done a better touch there. So right there. Yeah, so see that the touch, they had a little bit of a hesitation there. Maybe those things happen, of course, when they're a little nervous, and when they do that hesitation of thinking, you can see that in their faces or in their body language that they were in between two decisions or two options, which was, should I run, should I pass? And then when they stay in between those two decisions or those two options, they tend to hesitate and make a tiny bit of a mistake that would cost us a better pass. So you can see he put on his left foot, which is not his strongest foot. And the number 7, look how fast he is to cover it back and be very close to him, which he's not directly influencing the quality of that pass because he's not physically there, but just by the fact that he's making that movement it can get a little bit in the way of a player making a decision and then hesitating a little bit on the pass. So a long pass there. We actually got the ball. But the touch wasn't as good. Let me see that again. So receive the ball. Look, hesitated, put it on the left. It actually was good. It was actually good. Found right behind the defender, but the touch wasn't the greatest. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Our number 7 received that ball. His touch is really good. It just didn't work this time. And if he got that ball, it was a goal. He 1v1 against the keeper. He usually scores. But yeah, we see it's still alive and kicking there. So the match here is all set up, but I can see that the 10 is on the... Yeah, we're messed up again. Look, our 11 was supposed to be on our number 2, and then the 5 is supposed to be all the way down the wing. Yeah, the guy's filming the game, taking a little long to make the turn, but there you go. Better to have the video than not having anything. Good combination with number 10 there. Let's see if he's going to release. Find the man free in the middle as always. And then boom, that forced ball. Yeah, those forced balls are when the team is not confident. Like this usually happens. They want to rush to the solution. Look, exactly again, the extra man in the midfield. We find him. And then the touch is bad. See that the ball bounced. And then he just puts the ball forward to nobody. So again, another hesitation. This is a clear sign that your team is nervous. So I don't know if I said that or not, potentially not. It's just that when you observe these things, you just gotta calm them down, try to make sure that the instructions are more in a passive manner. I'm like, hey, we got this, man. Keep the ball on the ground. It's fine. Let's build it up instead of just like smacking them with a lot of words and try to make them even more nervous than they are right now. Yeah, see now that the right defender is building up by himself. That's because the number 4 now is yeah, so they have a 3v3 on the side in the match here. Yeah, this was supposed to be the number 10 to come a little closer and try to put a little more pressure on that ball, but it's fine in this case because he's kind of covering 2 men right now. Yeah, we could handle it. That was fine. Again, the third long ball. I told you guys, I wasn't lying. Like he can find people anywhere on the field, no matter what shape he's in. If he's out of balance, he can still do it. But that's not ideal what we wanted right now, especially because he's not even facing forward. So the team was very concerned about defending, which is normal against a superior team. That it's hard to have people in shape for a counter attack. All right, very solid defending from our boys at the back there, which you consider another corner kick. That was probably in this game. You won't see just the first half, but the second half is, I would say they have around 20 corners for them in their favor, and we have only one. So that's to see just how superior they were, and it was really nice to see from a playing football perspective how good they are into putting the ball in the same spot all the time. All right. Let me tell you what's gonna happen now. All right, let me freeze here. I want you to focus on the box there. And if I'm not mistaken, the number 9 for their team is one of the 2 players that are around the referee. I'm assuming that he's the one with the pink boots. So basically what he does, like he starts wide as that, outside of the whole shenanigans that's happened in the middle. And then usually you have a player that's going to go out there and mark him. However, there's a player here in this mix in the middle that his only job is to screen the marking player. So let's see what's going to happen. And then he usually tends to jump by himself. All right, let me see who's going to make the run. Yeah, I think the number 9, Robin, is the boy with the pink boots. Look, we found the marking for him. So basically someone communicated, hey, number 9 doesn't have a mark, number 9 doesn't have a mark, and it's exactly what they want. So there's a man marking him right there. Look, he's going to make a run. He does a little fake, and then he makes that run. Look, it happened. So you can see that their number, I believe is their number 10, did the screening and then blocked Damie, our our center back here on the side. So he wasn't able to run and follow his man. The ball's in the air. Now he's free to make the header, and let's see what's going to happen. Yeah, the header wasn't that good. I believe the cross. I believe this was the only, out of the 20 crosses that I can remember, this was the only one that didn't go well. Every other corner that they have for them, they played in the very same spot. And then Robin most of the time was able to put the head in almost all of them. It was incredible to see it. So really well done for the coaching staff and the boys. But now we know it. How to market is we kind of had a discussion in the halftime with the players, and I actually asked them like, how do you want to do this? And what they did is just they said, let's not mark him where he starts, but let's mark him where he comes and where he's gonna land to get that cross. So instead of setting someone to go all the way out to be with Robin, what we do is we get someone that is on the inside of that little mixture there, who has an eye on the ball, has an eye on Robin. Whenever he comes in, you can jump in front of him. So basically, you mark at the destination and you not start marking him at the origin of his run. But really well done. I thought about this play plenty of times before because this is taken from basketball, which is really good to see. Like we have to take more ideas from other team sports to apply into football. But this was the first time that I've seen it being done properly. So let's watch it again. Let me pause here. See Robin right here on the second post, number 9 with the pink boots. He is being marked right now by my left back. Let's see what's going to happen. Just focus on the second post here. It looks like they might be marking, they're going short. Yeah, it doesn't look, he's not doing what he usually does. So if this is like the first corner, they're going to go in the first post for the number 3. Because Robin is not as wide as he usually is. Yeah, he did make the run. There was no screening there. And then he finds the header. Let me see this again. This is a struggle. This is a struggle for amateur clubs, which is players are too cool to head the ball. So let's try to have a discussion around how can we encourage them to head the ball. To be very honest, I have a hard time. So if you have a better solution in mind, first thing I want to do is to let them know about the importance and what's happening and how dangerous that can be that if they don't go for headers. That's the number one. Just get the awareness of what the consequences are. Number 2 is around actually training them on the technique in terms of in the shape and then the run, the jump, the header motion, and things like that. And you can add with a passive opposition, with an active opposition. You can do all that progression all the way to what it looks like in the game. And then 3 is that when I'm on the side there and there's a corner, which is I really don't like to do it for very long, it's just to be shouting on the side. Like, come on, boys, get in the headers, get in the headers. You need to win it. You need to win it. In order to kind of remind them of what we've done in the practice and just show them that I see it. Because sometimes it's hard to kind of pinpoint in the game who was supposed to jump or not. And then we might just be angry at the entire team, but we don't know exactly who to, not to blame, but who to point at what the mistake was and then try to address that directly. So by shouting on the side, it kind of gives them a sense of like, hey, coach is watching, I better do this now. But once you do that so often, it just becomes crying the wolf, and then they stop listening to you. And then the final one is, that's why, and this might be a harsh truth and a little bit exaggerated, but that's why these players are in the amateur level and the other players are in the professional level. Because just like the coach said, I think it was Ferguson or someone else said, like, how do you motivate players? And he said, it's simple. I recruit the motivated ones. I believe it's the very same idea here, that if they don't do this at the amateur, it means that they're going to be staying at the amateur for a very long time. And I keep telling them that, and it's just they understand, they agree, but sometimes when you don't have what it takes, it is complicated for it to add. I'm being very pessimistic, especially at under 19s where they've done most of their work. Look. Only one player jumped from my team. Huh? Only one player. Only my left back, Aaron. Yeah, and jump in a very not very good position. He was probably not the guy to jump there, but anyways, I praise the effort there. Once again here, we have possession in the free. I just went back too much. Let's just get the one. Keeper gets the ball. Quick counter attack. We find our 9. Very fast player. He actually played for the under 21s, but he has the age to play with us. You can see that he's massively bigger than the other players. 3 players on the press there. Hesitated a little bit. Pass wasn't the greatest. We don't know if the pass was for my 7 or my 10. Ended up getting right in the middle there and intercepted. And it's a chance that we missed. Another one here. Let's see what it's gonna do. So see that my 10 is not approaching. Now he's a little too late because I already made the run to the left. Got the 11 in the wide position. Out of the way for the 9. Number 2 for PSV is doing a great job. He's in a shape, forcing them on the outside, but also have a shape to run and mark number 11 in case he receives the ball. Closes with his body. Perfect defending from the boys, from the PSV boys. Yeah. Again, it was just the reactions of our number 10 has to be a little faster. So we have an option there. It's a great player, but that potentially one of the reasons why he's having a hard time moving up. Let's open the camera here. Let's see. So Seymour forward with the ball. He has the room to drive forward, and then he just doesn't. He's looking for that long pass direct. So they have a couple players asking him for the ball. My 6 is making a run forward, but he's gonna go. Yeah, he's gonna go sideways. This happens quite often. The idea here, when you have a ball like that and you have the space, is you don't have the option because everyone's marked up, everyone's blocked, the lanes are blocked. So the safe idea is just to go around and try it on the other side to catch if they are not shifting properly, which is not usually the case against a team at that level. But here, what you want to do is you want to drive forward a little bit because at some point, someone from the other team is going to be like, oh crap, I need to go and press this guy. And then whenever they presses, he opens a gap that you can potentially find it. But he's not willing to take that risk. So look, he doesn't drive, just steps on the ball, and then he goes to the side. He's asking for them to spread out and move, but it's really hard when we have more players on the other side. And then, boom, here we go back into against the goal, and then almost a counter there, which, actually you can see a free kick right in front of the goal. Yeah, this is not very good. Try to skip this part here. I was really concerned on this free kick because our goalkeeper only put 4 men in the wall. So he left his left side completely open. I wish he had an extra man there, which I believe Robin was very intelligent to find that gap on the side. But keeper was very confident that day and then got the save. That was a really great save for them. But a frontal free kick like that, potentially 5 players, at least 5 players should be there. Otherwise, you get really exposed. All right, another corner again. From this side, it's usually an in swing. Is usually when Robin makes the run. Look, he makes the run, finds the ball on himself. I think he touched someone there. Another corner. It's probably what I'm not counting anymore. It's probably number 5. Only in the first half. It's crazy. Runs forward and Robin makes the delayed run. The ball doesn't get there. We intercept. Listen, we won in the air, but you see that was a low ball, second post, past the second post actually, and then my player had both feet on the ground when he headed the ball. I tell them we need to get the ball at the highest point possible, but it's complicated. Especially my team has a very low height average, so it's quite complicated. I'm trying to change that with bringing some other players who are taller. You see the number 2 there by himself. My number, I think it's number 7. They inverted now. My number 7 was able to come in and collect him. It was all good. Number 7 is supposed to be on the 2. Yeah, there's a little bit of a mistake on positioning there. They needed to react a little faster. I believe by now my number 2 was already shaped up. And then here we go. It's complicated. This is a game that it gets very desperating to be on the sideline, probably for the players as well. When any possession we just give it away for free. So it's not that the other team kind of like wins possession and then turn over. It's just basically us doing bad passes, long balls, and things like that they just got intercepted. So it's very, very, very frustrating. And it's hard to reset that type of players. Some of the ways you can do is just to change a player and try to get a player who's more like grounded, who's more calm under pressure, and can play in small pockets. But this was the best players I had for that game. Look, no running in the space, force that ball, and then intercept it. Yeah, usually the complaint here for playing in this position, like I talk to him, and then sometimes what he's gonna say is that like, oh, there's no option, but he has to drive, to find those options. If he drives a little bit, force that ball, it's fine, at least if to see if they unlock or not, and then maybe turn around and start again. But he's not even trying to drive, so he's not gonna unlock because everyone's gonna be standing still. Our players can move around, but when the opposition is very set in their space, they're covering the players and the lanes. It's very difficult to break a line there. I don't fully blame him, but we gotta try to drive a little bit more. Ball back to the keeper. Let me see if he actually had a chance to play on the left. So you guys know I usually tend to watch the games back on a 1.5, even 2 times speed, but I don't know how to use this software. You can even see his dad at the bottom here, like signaling for him to play forward, but then he goes backwards. Yeah, he's right-footed, so it's hard to find the number 5 there, but we need to find the number. Just so you know, number 5 in the Netherlands is the left back. Something I didn't know about, but it makes sense the way they count the numbers. All right, here we go again on the defending side. Yeah, this was a game that we were expecting to hit a counter attack on the number 9, who's really fast, and then try to score a goal on that. But look, it was really hard. It was really hard to try to build anything up because of the nervousness and how well the opposition covered ground. Look, the mismatch on the side here. Got my center back all the way up top. Number 2 still hesitating. And then our number 3, Jaden, doing a very good job at covering. He's a really good player. He made a mistake in the second half that conceded the second goal right off the beginning. But all in all, in these 2 games against the professional clubs, he has done a really great job. Hence, he got promoted to the under 21s for a few sessions. So reorganizing there. 9's already out of the picture. Everyone's meshed up in the midfield, and then Yeah, we're not marking properly in the middle, but thankfully they are not finding it. Let's look at the number 10. That's what I'm saying. All right, number 8 was able to come in and cover that ground. Our number 8, Jeremias, is really good at covering ground. It's a boy who rarely makes any mistakes in possession, out of possession. So it's a kid that if I don't have a reason, I do not change him because he usually does a very perfect game. Perfect to his ability, to be honest. All right, let me see ref here on the 1v1. Does the cover, forces the guy out. And then again, we're all shifted to one side and we're leaving that 10 in the middle. So take back what I said about the perfect game. We're usually covering too close to the other side and not covering the midfield. So he's leaving a lot of room for the 10. So off the ball, he's concerned about another player. So he's actually covering two players at once. This is kudos to him. Look, he's that going around. He wasn't supposed to go all the way up and then around. He was supposed just to stay centralized. He's low. Our left winger, he's improved a lot at number 11 on defending. I know he's a left winger. He needs to be focusing on the attacking side, but he's now doing both up and down really, really well. Look at that. He's been tackling this year fantastically. It's nice to see it. Potentially at some point might migrate into a fullback position if he doesn't find a lot of success in the front. All right, let's see the shape again. Let's see my. This is it's just a waste. It's just a waste. It's really sad. All right. Let's see here. Got the ball. The original position for our number 11 to be is all the way to the halfway line and then just drop back into support. But I guess that he figured out that we were not being very successful, so he came short a little earlier, which I give kudos to him to taking that initiative. That opens a gap here on the wing, which our number 9 is going to make that run, which is very good. You can see Jeremias here in the midfield pointing at the number 9 Rio to receive the ball, which is where he's going to find it. But however, that pass was not good enough. Was not good enough. The idea was there for sure. So kudos to everyone involved. Just the final touch wasn't good. That's what makes the difference. The idea is there, but if it doesn't follow, it's complicated. Our center back Tammy did a hell of a job against FC Groningen. He did a hell of a job. Here is his task with a very tough situation. But that pass has to be found. That pass has to be found. Here we go again. So the cool thing about PSV, you can see that they're doing like almost a mid block, and they do that on purpose for two reasons. Number one is to squeeze my number 10 that he is again looks like he's free, but he's not really free because the number 8 has an eye on him. So they kind of do that to squeeze into the midfield. Of course, they're winning, so they can do that. And also they give us the false impression that we can build from the back. But whenever the keeper does the first touch, you can see that their team shuffles up really fast. Let's see if that's going to happen in this play. Look, their 9 is just like playing like nothing's happening. Oh, that's the time that I think the referee came to rip me a new one. Because he did a good call there. I think I said like, yeah, that's a good call, ref. And then he just came to me and blasting. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Very aggressive tone. It was impressive. Good counter there. And then idea was try to find number 7, but again, you see the idea when the team is rushing those balls, they're not comfortable on the ball. Is that usually not the case for our team, but it's just they can see that they're feeling it. Very good turn, Yeah, gave it a foul. I don't know. Yeah, I really don't know about that. So being shifted, marking in the middle, all good. Number two is going to be well covered, so it forces the ball to be bounced back. Yeah, they're on their favor now, so it's common for the team to take their time. It's 1-0 past the halfway mark from the first half. But again, our we are not matched properly. Look, our number five is conflicted between two players to mark, and then that can be a problem. So the number four was Damie was good to come in and cover for that, but our number 11 is too high. Yeah, because we got yeah, I see what's happening. Is my left back is my right winger is dropping all the way back to mark the fullback. That's not what we're supposed to do. So we that this something happens very often, which is like players make a decision and they don't communicate the entire team, and I sometimes I don't observe that on the spot. And what happens is like they're doing the right thing, the right idea of like marking the full back, but because they don't communicate, they don't see that there's a gap now being made on the other side because the idea was for the 11 to be marking this player. I, in case they did communicate and I didn't catch it, is they shifted and the fullback was supposed to our fullback was supposed to get their fullback, which seemed to have been the case here. But still, I see that they're marking two players. Ah, that is a shame. I don't remember this play. Mm, yeah, offside there. Yeah, that's an offside. I wish he kept going instead of a pass, or even he could have caught the ball on a half moon. Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame. Like, these opportunities are the opportunities that are make or break because we don't get too many of them in the game like this. Look, the midfield is when we are very hesitant on defending, like you don't see the players reacting and going up as fast as they can. So the number eight could have been a little higher in the midfield to be an option central there. Fullback could have done the same, but again, we're playing more on they know the players are very intelligent that if they make the run they're screwed in the back if there's a counter. But yeah, look, it could have gone back for the ball, but it's fine. It's fine. At least we found the goal there. Just try to get a little bit of confidence, but yeah, unfortunately it was offside. Let's see the back here if they're shifted correctly. Let's see. Yeah, they're doing. Now they fixed it. See that my number five is ahead of the number 11. This is correct. Yeah, because the five needs to get the two, and then my number two there has to get their winger. So this was better now. Look, got the win. This is really good. Might be thinking that I don't cut a lot of slack, but the thing is, these things can happen, yeah. But it takes one play to everything to be messed up. They they're just not able to find the two players. So it's lucky for us, but it's not the case. Not always the case. Look, 2v1, number four is a little bit off, but able to intercept. Yeah, my number eight is really well behind, almost in the back line, which is one of the things that we talked about before of him trying to like mingle in the back line a bit, just to have more people in the in the middle, like in front of the ball, which is fine. But again, look at the shift here. Look at their number two is actually all the way inside. Got the number 10 on here on the wing. So these shifts of position that the Dutch teams do, they're really good. We do that as well, having the inside forward and the outside winger. It's really good because you have to make those shifts to try to confuse the defending a little bit. Again, got the counter attack and then boom, ball forward to nobody. That's really a shame. So poor pass. Let's see if we're gonna win the ball. Top of the box. They're doing a good job, our defenders, to make sure that let's just get as many bodies in front of the ball as possible. Let's make sure that they're not having an opportunity to shoot. And PSV, as far as we watch their games, they always try to go through the outsides and then pass the ball inside. So we did an okay job doing that, blocking those the center shots. All right, so we're able to get the ball here and get in possession. He's set up for the shot. Clearly, there's an option on the right wing. He could have just passed the ball on the ground into the space in front of the winger, and then it's a proper counter attack. But no, the ball is forced all the way to the front. It's frustrating. It's frustrating. I try not to dictate what they're gonna play. So usually my philosophy is I coach whoever's around and away from the ball, but whoever's on the ball, I try to give them space to think and make their own decisions. But in situations like that, it's quite frustrating when you have an option that is so clear, but they decide to force the ball forward. It's quite complicated. So once again, they try to start the play on the wing, and then they make the run into the inside to try to find a shot there. But again, we had as many players as possible in the center to try to avoid those things from happening. So you can see that they scored on us on corners, but in the normal game, they had a hard time to score against us in normal play, which I take that as the biggest, I would say the biggest win from this match. It was able to just stop them on the ground and then just concede on a set piece. A better win, I would say, would have been if we were not making those nervous passes and shots to the space and missing opportunities like that. That's definitely a big takeaway that I'll keep sharing with them, and hopefully it will land in their game. This is one of the things that I don't know if you guys also coach, and you probably noticed, is that some players have a default, a way that they always do that, their natural way of doing things. So if their natural way is to be calm and then find passes on the ground into the space to the players nearby, that this is a default. They're always going to go back to that. But if their default is this, sometimes desperation and just trying to kick the ball forward, is when the situation is good, they will see and find the time to put the ball on the ground and play exactly how you're asking them to. But when the situation gets a little difficult for them, you see them going back to the default, which is just not thinking as much, just kind of trying to clear the ball all the way up. So it's complicated. So the idea is to try at the early ages to change their default system and just hammer some certain things so they become used to react in a more effective way. Because whenever the situation goes negatively or more pressure than they're used to, they still able to do that. So again, another ball back out. That one is fine because situations like that, you just don't want to mess around in the back line. You just clear the ball, reorganize, and then start again. Again, we all matched up here. They find again the outnumber men on our left side, but thankfully they were not able to find the player with the pass. But yeah, we had a lot of trouble with that. With just having three men on the side, they overload one side, but our players don't catch up as fast as they could, and then that can become a little dangerous. So this is a good sign. It's a small win. Maybe I'm just stretching a little bit, but like being able to play against a team of that quality and being able to force their passes and force their mistakes and able to win possession. Uh, so often it's a good win. Sometimes they might you might claim that they might have taken the foot off the gas because we're not putting a lot of pressure on them. That is possible as well, but I'll take that win anyways. Number eight, making the cover, forcing the pass to the side. So see, there's a lot of it's very populated in the middle. So I'm happy about that from our players. It might sound like it's a common thing, a basic thing to do, but like we don't usually do that. Like players are very concerned about scoring, so they spread out in the field very often, leaving the gaps in the middle quite open. We had weaker teams than us to come in and take advantage of the spaces in the midfield. So by seeing that, I take that as a win too. So pass found the keeper there. Let's see what the decision is going to be made. And another intercepted pass. It's complicated. It's complicated. So, for example, when a player might like my number four is having like those like that many long passes intercepted, like the confidence starts to drop a lot. And then we may observe that he's gonna hesitate into doing them now, and actually instead he's gonna start passing to the sides and back a little more often. Let's see if this is what's gonna happen for the remaining of the first match. Oh, sorry, the first half. They tried once or twice, three times, and you can see the frustration. You saw his body language was very negative, open his arms. He's a very expressive kid in general, but he hasn't expressed anything all the way to now. So that is a sign for me that he is already on the frustration point. I see Zan on the corner now. I've never seen so many corners in a game that I was coaching in, so it was quite nerve wracking to see that those many corners. I know this is just a throw in. A very good job so far. On the circumstances. Remember that PSV players, they're all being paid. They have contracts already. They have sponsors, agents, and so on. And our players are amateur. They go to school during the day. They have normal jobs. So it's quite a difference. We train 3 times a week. They train 4 to 5 times, and they have nutritionists, fitness coaches. As I said, they have 15 members of staff in their coaching group. So it is a win. It's a David versus Goliath for sure. But in this case, Goliath won. But that's fine. It was a great experience for us, for me as a coach, to be in a game like that, to be more aware of like certain nuances that a team at the level can play. So I definitely took a lot away from this game, and I hope my players did too. We did some feedback on individually on some things, but after seeing this match again, I will get back to them and then try to revise a few things. Yeah, we definitely shifted the way we're marking just to get our number four on their 11, which is not initially the plan. Which they freed up. Let's see the long. I don't remember what the outcome of this was, but definitely not a goal because we didn't score any. Yeah. So this ball is like it's too high and too slow for anything to happen, and of course he landed in the wrong place behind everybody else. I tell them like they need to put a side spin to that ball, power, and it has to be just above people's heads so someone can intercept at the right spot. It's too high. It's complicated to get it, because the highest the ball is, the more time you give the keeper to think about coming out or not, and you don't want that to happen. All right, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave down in the comments anything that you observed that I didn't mention, and I'll catch you in the next one.